Oh my gosh. So come on in. Yeah, hit those hearts for a great women's hockey game. Really unbelievable. Um, and looks like here comes Joe. Joe, I was saying before you got on, um,
Oh,
uh-oh, that maybe you were late because you were watching one of the all-time great women's hockey games ever.
completely missed it. Didn't even know there was a hockey game. What happened?
Oh, you should watch it tonight. The US and Canada women played for the gold medal, and it went into overtime, and it just ended a couple seconds ago.
And
Unbelievably great athletes, these women.
and
Tough, hard fighting.
who won?
We did.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. Sorry about that. For those of you who didn't want the spoiler, it was a great I mean, it's so with all the crap that's going on, to see these women so tough on both sides, so determined and talented and unbelievably tireless. Oh my gosh. Great.
so so my partner Edwin Eisendreth, and welcome everybody who's joining us. Press those red hearts. You and I may differ on this, and this is a flaw of mine. I can't pull myself away from the day-to-day fight enough to enjoy something like that. I wish I could.
Yeah.
I want to.
There are a lot of hours in a day, and I'm gonna take a couple.
You have to.
You have to. I think you have to. And there's a whole lot of I mean, there's a lot of ancient wisdom about this. It's in the Bhagavad Gita that before the great fight, Arjuna has to leave the battlefield, right?
Yes.
He's swept away for a night of contemplation so that he knows what to do. Um, it, uh, Honestly, an hour of hockey later, the fight is still there, and we're going to talk about it.
No, Edwin, you're right. And if you're constantly in the battle all day, it ain't healthy physically. You need to take some time every day, sometime every week, sometime every quarter, and just check up.
Yeah, that's right. You just do. I mean, and then you come back and you fight smarter. But
That's a
speaking
good
of
way to
fighting
put it.
smarter, I the new these guys are so off. The Board of Peace met today. The United States is apparently putting $10 billion into the Board of Peace, which is not, um, appropriated by Congress, and it's controlled. It's like putting $10 billion in Trump's pocket of our money, and we might be going to war with Iran. Nobody likes Iran, but also nobody declared war with Iran. Um, I mean, the law about that is there for a reason. And today they hung a Trump banner, his face, from the Justice Department, right? The Justice Department. So, I mean, impeach him and throw him out today. And that I can promise you, your new party will give you all the votes you need on our side. We just need a few from those from those other guys. But if they really want to go down as the party that says the Justice Department should hang Trump's banner and we should put $10 billion into his pocket without appropriating it, and we should go to war without declaring war by Congress. I mean,
So I respond to you, brother, like this. This is my mantra. This is what America looks like without a Congress. We do not have a Congress right now. The second point I'd make is I think this was your idea that I've stolen, but I credit you often with it. Your idea was when Hakeem Jeffries becomes speaker in
day
January,
one.
just a one page,
Yep.
this is why he should be impeached, and just vote on it and be done with it.
Yep. And get on with the business of the people, but that just has to happen. Yep. I mean,
Even
Joe,
if the Senate doesn't even touch it, who cares?
yeah, there'll be pressure on them, but yeah. But and then let him defend him a third time. Let him just go down that road. Yeah. But also, I don't, when the time comes and this presidential immunity that he has, it's hard to argue that, going to war that isn't declared is an official act. I mean, he doesn't have the power to do it, so it isn't an official act. So, I mean, everybody
What?
he kills, he can get charged for it. I don't know.
What? It's Edwin. It's really fascinating. Um, nobody wants to. Nobody's stopping him. And I'm not talking about Democrats now because they're not in a position to stop him.
That's right.
We don't have a Congress. Republicans control Congress. Republicans as a party are not stopping him. They're bowing to him. Um, and he's taking advantage of that and doing virtually whatever he wants. It's fascinating. Like, where's the flaw in the system? And I know we've got the courts doing their damnedest, but he's going to go to war with Iran, and he can't do that. He can't do that.
Well, he can issue the orders, and Hegseth can order, whether or not the military does it. I think they might. Um, but it isn't legal without you can't I mean, first off, he calls it the War Department. He can't say it's not really a war, it's just an action. This is his War Department
Yeah.
sending warships to go fight with massive lethality. I mean, his own words, right? It's all war. And it's all, of course, war because look, that he can at least order people to do. I mean, one thing that we should take time on, Joe, is that we're kicking his ass. He got kicked. ICE got kicked out of Chicago. ICE got kicked out of Minneapolis. He thought he could go in and take 6 members of Congress and put them behind bars, and he couldn't get one vote out of a grand jury, not one. I mean, every time that people get a chance to vote, the Republican margins go down deeper and deeper into the toilet territory. I mean, for a party that doesn't know what to do, we seem to be, defending against an out of control executive in
Well,
our, the best ways we can.
well, I wouldn't credit my new party. I would credit the courts for finally standing up, and I'd credit, as you always say, grassroots voters. They're
Well, they are the
leading.
party, Joe. That's the
I know,
difference on our
but
side.
they're leading. They're leading this parade.
They
The
are.
part. The
But also, I mean, you want to credit the courts, but it is states attorneys general who are going to court all the time,
Mhm.
you know? So I mean, not only them, I mean, journalists went to court, citizens went to court, but the apparatus on the left, the Democratic leaning apparatus has really defended pretty well against this all powerful onslaught because he really got control of the executive branch right away and castrated Congress.
I agree, and this is why it's always fun for you and I to talk because we are the yin and the yang. But then I go back to look at all the fucking damage he's done in a year and 3 weeks. He's won a lot. He's done a lot. He's changed a lot. He caught the Democratic Party flat-footed at the beginning, and he just went. We've been playing catch up. Um, I hear you that there are a lot of wins, and I hear you that things look really good for November, assuming that there's a free and fair election.
Yep.
But I I just still think we're in rough shape.
Well, look, he did. I totally agree. He got off to a huge head start. Consolidated power in the executive branch. Is the
Immediately.
most powerful president in American history. He had the Supreme Court on his side helping him, not the lower courts, and Congress was craven and helped him. So he had the power and has the power to do all those things. And as you and I've talked before, last year was the year we learned to fight back. Last year was the year we organized. We fought back in the courts. We fought back in the streets. We fought back in neighborhoods around each other. We fought back even on Capitol Hill in the weird ways we could. We fought back in state legislatures. So I think we learned how to fight last year. And in a battle between a very powerful executive branch of the government and the American people. The American people are going to win, Joe. Now he's going to do everything every dictator does, right? Hang his banners. I mean, I used to work in Saudi Arabia. The MBS's banner is hung everywhere, right? You just see that face everywhere. This is what kings do.
But you said it, Edwin, a banner on the Justice Department building.
It's just
That's sacrosanct. That's utterly un-American.
well, but that Justice Department doesn't exist anymore. I mean,
Go-
right? We know I mean, all this is, it's like, okay, this is, you knew it was this department. Now we're not even going to pretend. Right after Pam Bondi's behavior last week, there is no Justice Department. There's no justice. I
And
mean, they
you
get away
said
with crimes every day.
and you said earlier, we kicked ICE out of Minneapolis, we kicked ICE out of Chicago. Is that right?
Well, they
They
yeah, they
a
do.
lot of their numbers left. There are still some ICE in Minneapolis and Chicago, but generally most of them left. We didn't kick them out, they left. Now you could argue it's because they were getting their butts handed to them politically, but I don't know. They're building a gazillion acres of concentration camps all over the country. I this is
Joe, I got,
huh.
got you do definitely need to watch a hockey game because
I'm di I am such a Debbie Downer right now.
because Joe, they just think about their concentration camp system that they're building all over the country. All over the country, people who are greedy as hell and own these places are refusing to sell them, and towns are refusing to give them zoning. They're going to get it for sure.
They're gonna get it.
They're going to get it, but people are delaying it, and delay is really important here because we will get control of the House. Um, and we can
Mhm.
start fighting back in different ways. So delay matters. So these fights, when they have massive government power and we don't, it's a different kind of fight. It's a, you know,
I get asked a lot, once the Democrats take the House, what do you think they should do, Joe? I'll ask you that, Edwin.
wow, that's actually a very good question, and you were there.
Yeah, Democrats take control of the House. What does Edwin Eisendrath want to see them do? Knowing, and I'll give you the context. Let's assume Republicans still control the Senate. Trump is still in the White House. Democrats take control of the House. What do you want them to do?
Well, they can't pass anything,
Nope.
right? So I
Nope.
do want them to send that impeachment over. I want them to start to do real oversight so Americans can see the grift every day, can see the theft every day. But I also want them to start to have hearings about how you close the wealth gap in America, how you empower ordinary Americans to earn a living again. The things that people actually in a normal world would care about, so that at least we can have some visibility that there is a normal world that's possible. So those are the three things they should do. Two of them take time.
And
What do you think?
that's basically my answer. You and I are brothers on this. They need to conduct oversight every day.
Every day.
Call somebody from that administration in front of them under oath every day.
Yep,
They need to present that to the American people.
every day.
And the second thing is every day, every week, uh, uh, have hearings on issues that the party cares about and the country needs to care about.
Yep.
I agree. They need to think long term. They only got the House. The game is we got to win the presidency in 28. This is what the House can do, which, by the way, Edwin, I don't want to see a Democratic House bogged down in months of impeachment hearings.
Dude, it doesn't there that is a waste of time. We don't need
Agreed.
we've had months of proving the case. It doesn't need to
Right.
belabor the obvious.
Oversight, oversight, oversight. And along with the race for president, the party's going to have to say, this is what we are. Democrats in the House can do that by holding hearings on the issues that matter.
Now you know that no one will obey a subpoena. Not one administration official will obey a subpoena. Um, uh, they'll get referred to what? The Justice Department for contempt of Congress? I mean, we've been told the administration is lawless. They won't do it. So we'll have to find other ways to do it.
Agreed.
Yeah.
But that alone, that's what we haven't had for a year and 3 weeks is any oversight.
That's,
So that has to be priority number one.
I agree. I agree. And I mean, you don't really need too many subpoenas to start telling this story because the grift
Yes.
is out in the open.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
maybe to figure out what they're doing with crypto. Like, did Donald Trump go to Fort Knox? I don't remember. At the beginning of the term, he was talking about going there, and like, did he steal gold? Like, I wouldn't put it past him to grab the bar or two as he's going. right? Did he think
But
they were his anyway?
Edwin, think about how you started this show. He announced today he's going to take 10 billion in taxpayer dollars and just put in a fund to support his peace, whatever. That's utterly unconstitutional.
It's completely crooked. And yeah, but there are no lawyers there to tell him that. There is no justice department there to prosecute that. You know, it's the most dangerous time, and there is no. I mean, I just don't understand what happened to Republicans. I just don't get it. They just ceased to care about anything in our whole history. And I mean, you've told me they're doing this because they just want to like get rid of people who are of color in the United States. And I mean that it's all white Christian nationalist ideology, and they've just like given up on anything that's America. But I cannot believe that every person you used to work with that's still there, that's
No,
who they are.
plenty of them left. And the ones who don't want to fight him just leave. There's been a lot of that. So you have a higher percentage of true believer crazies in the caucus now. That's probably even more dangerous.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what is it they truly believe? Because I can't figure it out. Because I mean, they truly believe that one man should have all of the wealth of America, and if they're nice to him, they'll get some of it. And I guess being nice to the king and being given some money is an easier way to get rich than actually going to work and doing a job and having to earn a living.
We've talked about this. I talk to them every day. Still talk to some of my former colleagues. Edwin, there's a real historically, the right has been much more open to embracing the strongman and authoritarian. And I've had them tell me that they get it. That's what America needs because America needs a fucking kick in the ass, blah, blah. A lot of them gravitate toward the fact that he is an authoritarian. That's scary.
Well, so let's talk about how we hold people accountable when we actually have power, not just in the interim, but in the actual. Donald Trump pardons everybody. Everybody.
Mhm.
How do we hold them accountable? I mean, I think one way is for Congress to go back to the 14th Amendment. I've been thinking about this. The Supreme Court said the 14th Amendment doesn't say what you think it says. It actually needs an act of Congress to show how it works, right? It doesn't say that in the Constitution. It says the opposite, but
Right.
this is what they said. I think Congress says anybody who participated in January 6th is guilty of insurrection, period. And then they all get kicked out, the ones who are still there.
You think Congress should do that
When we actually have power, yes.
when you have power?
And everyone who participated in it on day one, they pass that too, and they're gone. And then we have super majorities everywhere. We can pass some real laws, and they can hold elections and send back people who aren't insurrectionists.
I'd love it if they did stuff like
And you
that,
know
even
what?
if it doesn't go anywhere.
I just want my party to think like they have the balls that Republicans sometimes used to have. You know, just that be tough.
Well, Edwin, that's a real problem because let's be real, Democrats typically don't show that they have balls and can be tough.
Haven't getting
Haven't
there, getting there. Haven't done it yet, but certainly not the leadership. Um, certainly not.
no, and even like when you look at the leading potential nominees in 28, maybe this is just my screwy vantage point. I detest everything that every member of my former party says. But there's a bravado there. There's a toughness there. A lot of it's fake, but it's there. Democrats just, Edwin, don't talk that way.
Well, you and I come close.
No, we do. I agree, but Pete Buttigieg doesn't talk this way.
Yeah,
I- Gavin Newsom,
yeah, I know. I know. There is a toughness that we need to have. There's also, one of the things that people find appealing about Donald Trump, um, is that it looks like, I mean, he's half asleep, but it looks like the administration is active, and
yeah,
nobody wants a president. a presidency that's not active. That's not in our character either. And Joe did a lot of great things, but like he wasn't out there talking about him. He was half asleep. Let's be honest. So
Yeah.
so we want to see an administration actively trying to solve problems. And the Americans will cut a lot of slack for errors if an administration looks like it's trying.
So I was interviewed by a New York Times reporter about an hour and a half ago. He asked me two questions I want to ask you. I went on and on about everything Trump's doing. And he said, Joe, just give me one. What's the worst thing in your mind Trump's done? And I instinctively said, he's taken over the Justice Department and destroyed the rule of law in this country.
Mhm.
If you had to nail it down to one thing Trump's done in a year and 3 weeks, what would it be? The
Well,
worst thing he's done?
I mean, when anybody says to me, if you had to impeach and get rid of one member of cabinet, who would it be? It's always Pam Bondi for me, for the same reason, because the rule of law is so enormously important. Um, but I'm not sure that's the worst thing. The worst thing might be this notion that there isn't truth. There's only spin, and the president gets to decide what the spin is for the whole
Mhm.
country. You know,
Mhm.
um, uh, that's how they view the media. Like, we can get rid of the ones who disagree with us. That's how they can rewrite history. Um, uh, they just have this sense that they are immune to reality, and they just believe there is no truth in the world, none. And it's just what they say. And that I guess you can't have rule. I mean, that's one of the reasons why you don't have rule of law. You can't have rule of law if there isn't anything other than what I think and what you think, and I have the power to say what we think.
I, uh, I've been saying now for years that Trump's greatest legacy is that the destruction of truth.
Yeah.
The second question he asked me was, Joe, can you give me your ideal Democratic nominee in 28? And I said, I'm conflicted because I'm a populist. I want a populist fighter, but I'd love a populist fighter from the middle. And I think generally the fighters tend to be on both extremes. But my ideal candidate would be a populist son of a gun fighter who's more centrist.
Was
What would
FDR too much of a lefty for you?
Hard to answer because of the time. Who
Right.
knows?
Well, we're
Yeah,
getting to similar time in some ways, but
yeah.
somebody who's as tough as he was,
Mhm.
who's willing to make the government work for Americans, so that people who are out there working can afford a house and afford to raise their kids and kind of have a good life. Um, that's what I want to see, and that was going to require naming an enemy. The people who are in
Yes,
the way of that. And
yes,
naming an enemy and making sure Americans understand it. And that enemy is shaping up to be the Epstein class, the Davos Epstein class. And that is that, I mean, they're just handing it to us on a plate,
oh, god, yeah.
right? And we had better be able to tell Americans there's them and they think they own everything. And by the way, Trump got approval from his own folks to build his ballroom today.
Oh, okay, okay. You're with me, right? If you're running for president as a Democrat in 28, you have to pledge to tear down that fucking ballroom.
I've been there, but I had another idea.
Oh, man, what?
I don't know if you've been to the Museum of Science and Industry in Chicago.
Not for a long, long, long time.
Well, this hasn't changed in a long, long time. They have a room that hangs an airplane on the ceiling,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I think you take that Qatari airplane and and you hang it in it, and you just use this as the trophy room. You just have this is the room of the shit he stole for everybody to see it forever. And you know what? Like, I want Mar-a-Lago to be the Museum of American Fascism. I think we need, and the ballroom might just be big enough to be the Museum of Presidential Grift. You know? And
It's it's an interesting take. I gotta think about it.
yeah.
I just want the fucking thing down, but that's
I
an interesting
as
take.
long as it doesn't mean what he intended it to mean, I'm okay.
I
You know what I
just
mean?
but it'll destroy the feel of the whole White House grounds.
You're totally right. I totally
You
agree.
said it. In fact, you said it. Another line I've stolen from you. You said we don't have it's a palace. We don't have palaces in this country.
I agree, but we do have some pretty good museums. And so
Yeah.
so I like as long as the fact of it is a forever stain on everybody who supported that man, I'm okay. And if it can't be that, absolutely blow it up.
So think of the 2 headlines you and I woke up to this morning. The UK arrested Andrew, formerly Prince Andrew,
Mhm,
because of what he did with Epstein.
mhm.
And South Korea sentenced their former president to life in prison because he momentarily imposed martial law. Um,
And in the US, Donald Trump's on the Justice Department banner hanging. Right, big difference, right? In those places, rule of law is holding, the idea of democracy is holding,
accountability,
accountability is
accountability.
holding.
And
Joe,
here in this
when I was
country, none of that. Go ahead.
teaching every year about democracy, one of the documents I use is the Economist Intelligence Unit publishes this democracy index. It's 167
Yeah.
countries. They go into a lot of detail and they measure on scores of different items that fit into categories like civil society, free elections, free press, um, democratic culture. And they do a lot of measurements and they publish every year and they publish in February. They have it published. They're a little late. I mean, February's not over yet, but they usually do it earlier. They're a little late, but I am sure that in this next couple days or weeks, they are going to say the United States is fallen way behind and may not even be classified. And they'd be wrong to say it's not classified as a democracy, but they may come close to saying it's lost enormous um, uh, uh, a number of points in the democracy index, and I think that will be a wake up call. We'll make it a wake up call for a lot of people.
The world's greatest and oldest democracy. And here we are.
Well, now we're just the world's oldest democracy, you know. And maybe, I mean, maybe it's our time. Maybe like some of those athletes, it's time to get off the field. But I don't think so. I think we can have a rebirth.
I okay, but can you just hold your fire for a little bit? You may be right. I'm hoping you're right. But man, we got a tough slog to get through here these next few years.
Yeah,
And
the
I don't
global.
want to. My God, the July 4th, the Independence Day celebrations, 250th this year. I don't want to see anything that he's involved in.
And you know what? He's going to do something horrible.
Yeah,
I mean, absolutely, just something that pulls us all down, right? But there's going to be all over the country celebrations from ordinary Americans that are lovely and wonderful and celebratory, and we'll talk about the things that matter. Um, I'm trying to put together this. I mean, it was my son's idea, but I'm trying to like there are all these summer block parties, summer
yeah.
band things all over. Trying to like, what could you do to turn them all into mini democracy fests?
Oh, that's
Like,
awesome.
what features would you have to add to a normal summer fair? Like a soapbox and people can stand up and say what democracy means to them? You know? Just,
That's really cool.
all over the place this summer.
I love the soapbox idea.
Yeah, it's
I've always been partial toward the soapbox. That's a great idea.
yeah,
Edwin, I will help you with that. I love that
yeah,
idea.
I like that.
That's really, really cool.
Yeah. I
Thank
mean,
you, everybody who listened.
we can do a lot of stuff, because there are a lot of them and they have a lot of power, but there are 300 and some million of us. And yeah, I even his partisans, and I'm not talking about the ones in Congress, the ones who are fool enough to believe him that everything's rigged and he won everything and he was cheated out of the election. That's a smaller and smaller number as people see what's going on. I don't think people really want to abandon their democracy. I just don't see that.
Agreed. But always remember, he won in 2024 because a lot of people voted for him who are not hardcore MAGA. They they looked up and they had a choice between him and it was her eventually, and they voted for him over my new party. They're going to have that same choice in 28.
I agree. I think they'll make a different one as they did after they saw him for 4 years the last time. I mean, Americans don't like their incumbents these days to begin with, and there was a lot going on all over the world that people were about
Yes.
changing parties,
Yeah.
so like they're in there. But nobody's gonna be happy with I mean, everybody he's been in 1 year and people are miserable. I mean, there is not a the longer he's in, the more miserable Americans are gonna be because he's stealing everything.
Look what you said. You have an enemy. There's a culprit right now, the Epstein class.
Yep,
It, and
and he
you're
leads it.
right. He is that.
Yep,
He is that.
yeah, and I just think we say it every day, and we remind everybody as we can when we have Congress back with oversight of the absolute grift. Why is his son a major defense contractor? You know, why is his son, um, building a crypto platform that's to replace the dollar to make like his wallet the default currency of the world? I'm sorry, no. You know, I mean, I'm
Because
I'm a little vindictive, Joe. If they've really been taking our money and putting it in their crypto wallets, I'd ask Congress to make all of crypto illegal and make all of it go to value 0. Just 0. Like, just not you know what? It may be good for us, but maybe we'll do it again someday, but not for 10 years and let it go to 0.
the problem is he does all these things because he can, because people enable him and let him do it. That's the problem.
Yeah, well, let's name it. Your former party, who has the power to stop this and could stop it any day, and they could have stopped it when when he banner up before on all those buildings. They could have stopped it when they sent troops into Chicago and shot people here. They could have stopped
Yeah.
it when they shot Renee Good. Didn't. They could have stopped it when they shot uh, uh,
Alex Preddy.
Alex Preddy. Didn't. They could have stopped it today when he has his phony board of peace or when he's steaming our ships again across the world at great cost to everybody to maybe go to war with Iran. And like, you know what? They can stop it. They could. And every day they don't. They just hang that banner up. And by the way, they could stop it because of Epstein. They could actually have made those Epstein. They could have made Pam Bondi do her job. They're not going to.
Right.
Guilty,
So
guilty,
they
guilty.
so they need to be removed from power.
I couldn't agree with you more, and I'm saying, like, removed, and they need to be removed, which is why I'm willing to use the 14th Amendment to remove them when their gerrymander protects a few of them.
That's a cool idea.
I
Thank
mean,
you, brother.
play hard with these people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Always a
Thank you,
pleasure, Joe.
everybody.
Always a
Thanks,
pleasure. All
Evan.
right, I'm gonna do it this time because Joe always gets here first.
What?
Sign up and follow Joe.
And Edwin. And Edwin. Follow both of us. Thank you.
Bye.
Ciao, ciao.